this video, what I'm going to do is a quick tutorial on how to install and use iFrame Embedder. It is a WordPress plugin that will allow you to iFrame pages from other sites. And one of the use cases I'm going to show you how to do here is how to take the Toyota incentives and rebates page that's provided by Toyota Manufacturing, by the factory, that we can actually embed into a page. This is a great way to show off your incentives and utilize the assets that Toyota gives you. So what I'm going to do to begin with is we're going to install the plugin. So I'm going to flip over to my demo site here, and we'll go down to plugins, and we're going to add new, and we're going to search just for iFrame Embedder. You can see I've done it recently, so we're going to do a search for that. Then we're going to install it, and we're going to get the "Are you sure?" We're going to activate it, and then once it's activated, it's going to pop up under settings on the left-hand menu bar, and we'll go into that setup. So essentially, you've got some options in here, and you can play with these to get the look that you want. If you know CSS, you can actually create a class name and add custom CSS for it, so the iFrame will look the way you want. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go no scrolling, and we're just going to save, and that's all I'm going to do for that right now. I am going to copy this piece right here. This is the short code that will put it on a page, and you'll notice that you've got just iFrame, the URL, and then the width and height that you might want. Okay, so our height and width. So we're going to go back and we're going to add a new page now, and let's just call this Toyota incentives. I'm going to paste my URL down here. Okay, I'm going to switch back over to my incentives page that I'm going to be copying, which this is on a site. So this particular iFrame is on a Toyota site, and one thing that Toyota does, and a lot of the manufacturers do, is that they actually just do the iFrame with your dealer ID in it, or maybe a region or a zip code. But if you right click, you'll see open frame in new window, open frame in new tab. I'm in Safari doing this. Controls are a little different depending on what browser. Firefox is going to be very similar, so if you're on a PC and you don't see it in Internet Explorer, if that's what you're using, use Firefox to do this. But we're going to open frame in new tab. So once I open that frame in a new tab, here's my URL that I'm going to be iframing in. And you'll notice Toyota builds this page with the intent of being iframed. In other words, there's no header other than just the Toyota kind of small header, and it's narrow. So they've done a good job of at least making this available for iframing. Iframing is one of those things that gets frowned upon quite a bit in the internet industry and the internet marketing industry, because it doesn't work real well for search engine optimization. You're essentially taking somebody else's content from their page and putting it into yours. In situations like this, it kind of makes sense. You definitely would want to wrap it with some additional content, but this is mainly for your user experience, not necessarily for your SEO at this point. If you have the time to build these all yourself and have it within your site, then that'll be a better way to go from an SEO perspective. But it takes time, so there's other things you can do there. So I've copied this URL now. We're going to go back to the page I just created. Here is the URL that we're working with, or the short code, and I'm going to paste that URL right there. Okay, so here's my Buy Toyota Special Offers. I'm going to leave these sizes for the time being, because what you're going to see is these sizes will just be a little box to begin with, and obviously we don't want a little box, but I'll show you how I go about kind of formatting that and making it look nice. So we've just published the page. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add it to the menu bar, or add that link to the menu bar. Pages, most recent pages, add to menu. I'll leave it on the side. We're going to save that. Go back to our home page. So I've got Toyota incentives now as a menu item. And when I go to the page, you'll notice I've got this little teeny box. We want to make that obviously larger. So what I'm going to do is go back to my pages. It's going to be on page 2. I'm going to edit that. And we definitely want to increase the height considerably. So let's go to, let's do 1500. And I'm going to try to do 100% wide. Let's see what happens with that. So you can use either pixels or percentage with this plugin. So we refresh the page. And we have a nice looking incentive page. One of the reasons I went to the 1500 pixels, and you'll notice I've got this space at the bottom. If I were shorter than this, so say I did 800 pixels and it stopped here, I would get a scroll bar. I want to avoid the scroll bars. And actually, if you remember in the settings, I turned that off. So in that case, it would actually just cut it off right here. So what I want to do is make sure that my height is tall enough so that when I click on other vehicles that may have more, more incentives, that is taller than that possibly. Yeah, see, in this case, I'm actually just cutting off right at the bottom there. It probably could go a little bit, so I probably could go a little further. I might even want to turn on the scrolling just in case this does happen. But you always want your height to be as tall as your tallest page if possible, unless it's a really tall page, and then you go ahead and allow the scrolling for those. So because scrolling inside of scrolling, so you got your scrolling in your browser, then you'd have scrolling here as well, is usually a bad experience for the consumer. But that's how you use the iFrame embedder for WordPress. Have fun with that. You can use it for a lot of different things. A lot of the service appointment schedulers, things of that nature are all iFramed now, and you can use this tool to make that happen. Have fun with that.